Hi, I'm Tricia Morris from Club Scrap, and I wanted to show you a fun way to make one of these pop-up slider cards. I've been looking at different tutorials online, and I thought maybe we could refine it a little bit to make it easier. And in the process, I want to introduce you to one of my favorite little scrapbooking tools, my 2x8 clear grid ruler. Of course, it's in inches. But this really helps expedite some of the tasks that need to be accomplished in order to create this fun interactive card. So I started out using one in a 5x7 size, and I only attached the artwork to the front half of the pop-up panel, so it causes this to come up as well, and I thought that was really cute, especially with Club Scrap's Lagoon rubber stamps. And then I thought I would try again modifying some things, and this is when I developed this particular card. And so I'm going to show you how to make this one. It's a standard card that will fit into an A2 size envelope, which I really like. And so I've got a piece of the Lagoon light teal paper here, trimmed to 5.5 by 8.5. And you can go ahead and score at 4 1/4 if you'd like, or just simply fold it in half. I pre-scored mine so I could get the card base going readily. And then you need 3 other pieces. This panel is what will create the mechanism, and it's trimmed to 4 by 5 1/4. And then I trimmed the framing panel, and this is a completely optional step. And I made this only 1/8 of an inch smaller than this piece, so your measurement here is going to be 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And then you need to have the piece that you slide in and out, and this piece is 3 1/4 by 5, and the size of this piece can vary. I'm also using a craft knife cutting mat, bone folder, and Club Scrap Bookbinding Glue loaded into a needle-tipped applicator, this is just a wonderful product for this particular project. So of course the base will set aside, the insert gets set aside while we work with this piece here to make the mechanism. Now I've decided to have a frame that's 5/8 of an inch all the way around, and so I use this ruler. Each line on the ruler represents 1/8 of an inch. So if I measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes from the edge, and then 5 boxes down from the top, and 5 boxes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in from the bottom, I can make a little mark so that I can easily see where to start and end the cut I'm about to make with my craft knife. Make sure you press down firmly with both hands and to make that first slice. Now I'll rotate this. You never want to rotate your hand and your ruler, just always rotate the paper you're cutting. And once again, I need to be 5/8 of an inch in from the edge, which is easy to do with this ruler, and 5/8 inch from the bottom here. So here is my little mark. And where I'm making these marks will become the back of this card panel. Rotate one more time. Just remember, only once. We only want to create a U-shaped cut. And here, once again, is my 5/8 mark. You don't have to make the mark. I just feel like it makes it a little easier to see when to stop. Make sure your cuts are going all the way through to the other side, so it makes a little flap like this. And then on the other end, I will still place the ruler, but this time, instead of using my knife, I'll use my bone folder to make a score line. Okay, so with that score line, now you've got a window going like so. Now from this end, just on the piece that goes up and down, we will make yet another score line. This one, I'll make it 1/2 of an inch in from the edge of the flap. It's probably the easiest way to get your measurement. All the while, I'm using the straight edge of these vertical lines to make sure that I'm level with everything. A valley fold. So here at the top, now I have a valley, and here I have a valley, and this is the side of the paper that has the hash marks on it. Okay, there's one last little step we need to make, and that is to fold exactly in half from here to here, from this 1/2 inch score line up to the top score. So to do that, I'll just flip this over again, and I'll bring the folded edge up to the score line on the other end of the window. And to make this process easier, when I was trimming this paper, I made sure that I was trimming it with the grain going easily in this direction. Therefore, I made a nice, easy fold. And now this is how the mechanism will work and go up and down. Next, I'll flip it back over. So this is the side that has the pencil marks on that I won't need to see anymore. And this little tan panel, the one that is, I believe it's 3 1/4. Yes, 3 1/4 by 5, will be attached to that little 1/2 inch scored area and centered from left to right. And if you are particular like I am, you can use your grid ruler to help you find that location. So I'm just measuring to make sure that I'm getting the same reading on both sides, and that's going to be at 2 inches. And that way, when I attach the panel, I can make sure I'm centered onto this tiny little flap. Enter the bookbinding glue. So I'll just add a little bit of this wet glue only to the 1/2 inch flap on the back side of the mechanism, and then I can center this. And the best part about using a liquid glue at this point is that it gives me a little time to make an adjustment if I need to. And then when you pull up on the tan panel or the sand colored panel, the mechanism comes up with it, and then this piece stays in place. Next, I'll use this piece to frame my window, and the width of the paper needs to be 1/2 inch, and that'll be from all edges. And that's going to help create a really lovely little frame for my piece. So once again, using the grid ruler, the lines on the grid helping me find 1/2 inch from the edge and 1/2 inch from the top and the bottom. And this is actually a little easier to see, so I'm just going to go ahead and aim and stop 1/2 inch before I reach the edge. Rotate the piece, and notice I am working from the back side of the paper, so any marks or anything that were to occur will be disguised by the print. Rotating and align, and you can see how this grid ruler makes very quick work. And of course a fourth cut will need to be made to cut out the center here. And now that frame nests beautifully onto my card. And for the attaching that, you can use your favorite adhesive. And as usual, I'll be using my bookbinding glue in this handy little applicator. Once again, giving me the ability to make adjustments to the piece after I have it in place. So this whole thing will be placed onto my card base. And what's important is that you don't apply adhesive to any moving part. So basically I want a U shape of adhesive here, and to apply that I'll flip everything over and apply a nice layer of this bookbinding glue, making sure I get to those outside edges and that I don't overstep my boundary into that sand area, because if I do, then this is going to stay right where I had it. And you'll have a lovely one-dimensional card, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not the goal here. So I can center this right on my card base. You can see already how fast the glue dries, and you can have room for a sentiment both on the front of the card, on the inner base, and then of course on the sand panel as well. And that's what I did on this one. So I actually cut panels to fit into this area, and I have a stamped image here and on the top. So it's really cute. It says on the front, son of a beach. And then when you slide it open, I've missed your birthday again. And then up at the top, belated birthday wishes. Plus you have room to sign your name to the inside of the card. And naturally, there's another room for more greetings on the inside if you should choose to have a folded card base. Well, this is a really fun little project. And if you have a little bit of experience with a craft knife and you pick up one of these awesome 2x8 clear acrylic grid rulers from Club Scrap, you are well on your way to making a beautiful pop-up card.